A big, bold, beautiful journey, 2025. I had some mixed feelings about this film, but I enjoyed it enough to give it a fair to middling score, as you'll see shortly if you watch all of this. I felt it was a little twee at times, the car rental stuff, the directive nature of the GPS, the sort of sat nav that speaks to the protagonists. There's two of them. There's Colin Farrell, who plays David, also Yi Hecht, who plays the young David. There's Margot Robbie, who plays Sarah. Um, they're the main protagonists. I like them both. Great actors, I would say. So, um, just some of the script I felt not ideal, but okay, I guess. I know what was being um, the need to set up a film the way it is. Um, Now, in some ways, the this film reminded me of Synecdoche, New York, 2008. But also some stage play style films, I guess Dogma, 95, all those sort of films that are set in very simple locations and are very similar to plays. Um, I just had that feeling about it, although this is a road trip, and I like road trip films. Um, but I suppose because it's dialogue heavy and the characters go on a journey, we w you sort of see, um there's a feeling that is a bit, mm, it might be more how my mood is at the time. I saw this, yesterday, that's Tuesday, 30th of September, and I've just caught up on a whole pile of films, and this film felt the most difficult, I would say, out of the films I've seen in the last week in the cinema. Um, and yeah, it wasn't that bad. I'm not really harsh about it. It's just that I thought, oh gosh. Um, but so it's a romance fantasy genre, and the two protagonists, they go on this road trip. Um, they're meant to go to this wedding. They don't know each other, but they meet at the wedding. And David, he is his car gets clamped. I think it's in New York, and he needs to go to get a car rental because that's the only way he's going to get to the destination. And he drives. He firstly has to pick up the car. It's this huge cavernous room where he gets instructed um, by the car rental people, and it's very. I mean, this is where it's very staged. Now I felt I don't really know what to make of scenes like this. I suppose because it's fantasy, I just go along with it, but not that keen on this kind of style. But um, he gets in his hire car. He's got the GPS that they recommend, and they effectively insist on him taking. He was going to just use his phone for directions. I mean, I, they warn him that his cellular signal might crap out, as they put it. What I would say in reply to that is, I'm gonna take a road atlas. I'm gonna do it old school, 90s or naughty style. I'm not gonna, you know, you don't have to do it the latest way, but of course they want him to use the GPS because the GPS actually gets involved. It gives more than simple directions. Um, so he gets to the wedding, meets the bride to be, the groom to be, and at that point he also meets Sarah, played by Margot Robbie, and they have a quick chat. Um, it seems like it's mildly, you think, oh, they're going to be set up together. Well, if you know they're the main characters, you probably think yes, they they would be. I wasn't sure because I hadn't checked the details. I hadn't even seen the trailer. Um, but, um, they do, of course, run into each other a bit later at the wedding after, just dismissing being fairly mildly dismissive of each other politely and everything, but, um, they sort of reckon they might hurt each other. That's the sort of thing that they say. Um, but, it's on their returned to the because they're introduced as coming from the same city, but, Sarah lives in downtown and David lives on the north side. I guess that's uptown or beyond, maybe if it's Manhattan. It's like, the 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 far north of Manhattan near where it becomes Bronx, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Um, but, they, um they are both driving back and they get asked by their GPS, "Would you like to go on a big, beautiful journey?" And they do agree to, and they get told to turn off the next exit. They go to this, burger bar, order some food, and then find that they're both there, Um, David spots Sarah, Sarah comes and joins him. Um, she says she eats that food for breakfast, dinner, and lunch every day, or breakfast, lunch, and tea every day. Dinner, tea, and she calls David a snob because he doesn't. But surely you need variety in food. But I don't know. But they decide they have their meal, then they get back in their respective cars, and Sarah's car doesn't work, and David's sat nav says, "Pick up Sarah," so she joins him, and they go on this journey together, of course. And the first location where they get told to turn off, it's a beautiful location, great views, and that's where Colin says, as in the trailer, what's he say? He says something that's a bit, "Oh, the most beautiful places make you feel the most alone." And that gets, the film recognises that as a cliche soon afterwards when Sarah mocks David for having said that. So it is a bit self-mocking, as in it will come up with stuff that, if you're not that I mean, I don't mind romance, but if you don't think that life relies on romance, then you can dismiss it. I certainly dismiss a lot of this. I mean, I can go on holiday by myself and enjoy it by myself. I don't need someone else. But I often read on social media about other people who do, and I appreciate that. We're all different, but sometimes a shared location, sharing a moment with someone else matters. But you can do it with friends as well. You don't have to do it with a partner. So there is that. I don't know, but I felt that sort of message was coming across a lot in this film, and that is the thing with romantic films often, and even more so with a romantic fantasy film. I mean, one of the main things about this film is that at the locations where they go, there are these doors simply exist in the open air. But if you open them, it's like a portal to a location that is part of the protagonist's past. So, like, it's high school, and David is 15 and he's in a play and he's confronted by the crushes he had at that time, and he knows what happens to a lot of the um, classmates, how they um, how their lives played out in the next few years, because he sort of talks about it to them, and what I suppose they don't necessarily believe him. I mean, it's not the sort of thing you would say, but that's where it's a bit time travel like. And yeah, it can't be too much like that because obviously, if you influence someone, then they won't do that, and then that flaws the logic of that thing. I've seen so many time travel films, and fantasy sort of dives into it in that sense, and it's okay. I don't know. Um, I suppose because I've seen quite a lot of time travel films, I often start thinking about those films, and so that distracts me from the film. I mean, it has its own elements of originality, but it's got all this um, past stuff as well. I mean, that is a bit like time travel, and I don't know. Um, I think it is probably what sort of mood I was in yesterday after seeing several other films the day before and thinking a lot about those. Um, the yeah, the one thing is like David, when he's back in school, he still looks like the older him, although there's the younger him also played in the film. But because he is playing his younger self, he asks the teacher how old he is, and the teacher says 15. And there's like a scene where Sarah um, asks someone in her life what age she is, and she's told, "Well, of course you know, you're 12." And it's just like, "Well, why are you asking this?" But um, I suppose it's all right. It is interesting fantasy element, um, but I guess what it is, it's like all the feelings of that time come flooding back, and I suppose having also the knowledge of things that have gone on from that time, um, it is um, it is what I get a little bit from reading my diaries. My diaries are like a portal into my earlier life, and when I read entries from, say, when I was in my 20s, oh gosh, it can take me back to that time because I put in a lot of detail that not only pings my memory, but really adds to my memory. It takes me right back to that time. Um, and this kind of narrative in a film feels like that's the similarity that I think that's the same thing that's happening in a film to what happens in my mind when I read my old diaries. I'm revisiting my past self, and I can really feel like I'm back there. And I tend to, I mean, one thing I've noticed is that I can express gratitude for those people from that time who listened to me, who helped, who supported me when I was in a really tough time in my life. And my early 20s were one of the most toughest time. I was in my most significant existential crisis back then. And so those friends who actually did support me really helped me survive. And so I feel lifelong gratitude towards them. And I can also express forgiveness to those who hurt me at that time, who were dismissive, who didn't realize the turmoil I was going through, even though it was really obvious to me, it wasn't to them. Um, and so that sort of thing. I mean, I've been reading my diaries today after seeing this film. Um, I read entries from when I was like, say, 23 years old, 24 years old, and I've read some recently from when I was, say, 26, 27, 27 years old, and wow, I mean, because I've lost touch with many of the people. Some very unwillingly, they lost touch with me as such. Some people, I don't know how we lost touch, but we just drifted apart, and it's a shame. But I still have my connection to them with my memories and with my diaries, and it counts for a lot, and it enhances my life to remember that. And so this film connects with that part of me. It reinforces why that's important to me. Um, it's such a valuable part of my life. Um, and in a way, I share my experiences in different ways. I'm sharing my experiences now with you via this video. Um, and that matters just as much. Um, and no matter who you are in life, there's this quote: "No matter who you are in life, you just need someone to share it with." Well, I'm sharing my experiences, my thoughts about this film with you right now. Um, that counts for a lot. And um, if you have thoughts, you can always share your comments with me as well, and they count for a lot. And I'd also just like to say that this misses out on a lot because it is very it's couple based, it's cis and straight, and I think there could be films, maybe not quite in this format, but which cover other aspects of life, everything from LGBTQIA plus experiences like trans experiences, gay and lesbian experiences, bi experiences, polyamory, or because people exist in polycules. They don't all always. They're not always monogamous, um, and some people have open relationships. There's that. Some people like me who are ace fall anywhere on the ace spectrum. There's aromantic as well as people like me who are romantic but demi-ace. There's a lot that this film gets me thinking about, and I appreciate. So this is going to get, as I said, a middling score. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10, as it inspires a lot of thoughts where I think, wow, there could be scripts for other kinds of films, similar, maybe quite different in some ways, but based on very different life experiences, because there's so many films about um, cis and straight people and their relationships, but there are many other relationships as well, and just friendships, and we've all got experiences of our childhood and our connections with our childhood, and some people find their childhoods too difficult to go back to as well. So there's that, the pain of that would affect some people. Um, so good score it 7.5 out of 10. I'd love to know what you think if you've seen this film. I was almost tempted to give it a high score, but I'm going to leave it as that. as I mean, it could be so much more expansive. But I think the acting was great. Some bits were a bit twee, but other elements were, um, creative, I think. So, um, thanks for watching. Please like if you like this review. Thanks for subscribing. Please hit the notification button, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.